welcome to FoundHer Rising, the podcast for women founders in wellness coaching and consulting who are ready to build businesses that create freedom, impact, and income. I'm your host, Christine Hakkola, business coach, former psychotherapist, and mentor to women scaling service-based businesses. Today, I'm joined by Laura Farberman, registered social worker and yoga instructor. She works in private practice, supporting adults and caregivers with trauma, mental health challenges, and addiction using spiritual and somatic approaches. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you and have you share your journey, all its ups and downs with our viewers. Let's start off, our viewers and our listeners. Let's start off back at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about what that was and the inception of your current business, Soulful Therapy.
Okay, yeah. So I think when I always think back to my entrepreneurship journey, it really started as a kid because my parents had their own business.
Yes, same actually.
Okay, amazing. They actually had a carnival business and we traveled through Ontario every summer. And so, especially from the ages of 9 to 20, I was really quite involved and just saw myself shine in customer service kind of roles and working with people from all walks of life. And so that kind of led me into this social work realm, more the working with people from all walks of life. And
such a natural fit.
Yeah. And then I did have always a spiritual practice. So there was always like some yoga happening and meditation and delving into some of the deeper spaces within to really heal from the adverse events that happen in life. And so it was always like my longing for that within myself. And then it just naturally flowed into my life's work
Beautiful.
As a therapist. And I would say my mom really supported that. And it was like a positive thing that she supported of it, but also it might have like held me back in certain ways because I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. So what I mean is in my early 20s, I did a spiritual psychotherapy program before it was a registered profession in Ontario.
You're ahead of your time.
I was very excited to start a private practice. And then I was encouraged by my mom to go the kind of safer route and get my MSW.
Okay, interesting.
And then I spent 10 years, almost 10 years working at CAMH in Ontario, the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health, in the schizophrenia program with a lot of clients, but also with families, counseling them and supporting them, how to navigate.
That must have been really intense work.
It was intense work, and it was very meaningful. However, after like a while doing that, I just realized that it wasn't enough of a healing space.
Yeah.
So people don't get a whole lot better in that space.
It's so hard.
Yeah. And so at a point, I just really took a leap, and it was an easy decision at that time in my life. I was a mom. I wanted to be able to drop my kids off at school and pick them up, and just work those hours and not have to, I didn't want to do aftercare anymore. I felt like it was a really long day for them when I was picking them up at 5:30. And
it sounds like you had a really clear calling and vision at that time for what you wanted to do.
Yeah. And so then we took a leap. We moved out of the city. We have a country home now, and our kids are, thriving here, and business is going great. It's been a really natural flow into being in private practice. So, yeah.
Awesome. So let's dive a little further into that. I know that I don't want to say you didn't have any difficulty, but there was certainly a natural affinity for you to private practice, and I know that you've had many periods of full caseloads, and that hasn't necessarily been a huge issue for you. So I have a kind of a twofold question: is one, what do you attribute your success in private practice to? And tell us then about the evolution from private to a group practice.
Yeah. Okay. So, my practice filled up, and I think that part of it was just really believing that this is what was happening. I never really doubted that I would be able to work these specific hours and fill my practice. And it happened over, I would say, like within a year, I was at my
That's
max
amazing.
capacity. I'm not like with a wait list, like there's always a flow in and out. But it's been, yeah, that part of the journey just flowed. And I think it's also having the skills to, convert clients once they're in for, and then also retaining clients, like for the period of time that the work is meaningful, and keeping, my toolbox of therapeutic interventions and tools that I can pull out. So there's always sort of like this intuitive approach that I think helps people want to stay in the space and keep finding that it's a meaningful space for them.
Yeah. And then for what it's worth, I'll just note, like, to me, you have this confidence about you that, for somebody seeking the kind of therapy that you offer and the support that you offer seems like a natural yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not always a yes, but when it often is. I think I have a good website that's helped. The first website I had, I wrote it all myself, and that was the one that really filled my own practice. And then I hired someone to do the website for my group practice, and I think that it really brings people in that are ready to do this deeper work that we offer. And it is I think that it's a unique space
Yes,
for a lot
definitely.
of people to when they see our website, they just kind of know, like, this is for me, or this is
That's
like,
so
what
cool.
is this?
Yeah. And at the end, I'll have you share where they can find you so folks can check it out. But let's dive a little bit more into that. What inspired you to shift from strictly one-on-one into having a group practice?
Okay, so there's a few reasons. One was and I think the primary reason and the first reason was that I work from home. I live about 20 minutes from anywhere.
Wow.
And so I was feeling a bit isolated in my work and wanted to share this experience with others. I brought in 3 therapists that I work with now, and I just have really loved the community feeling that we have together. And just being able to be in the space with them. We learn from each other. We practice 2 different tools on each other. And so that was my primary reason. But also, I felt like, I feel like as an entrepreneur, I'm always wanting to build something new. So I'm almost like, I think I would have made a really great project manager, because I like to work on a project, build it up, and then move to the next thing.
Okay. So tell me about your experience as a business owner, as a leader, shifting from private practice into an associate practice. What were the biggest mindset shifts or just leadership learnings that you had as you began to manage people?
One is that I had to stop worrying, because there was a lot of pressure in the beginning. I put on myself to fill their practice. So I found myself like checking their calendars, counting, doing a lot of that, like throughout the day. And at one point I thought, if I don't stop doing this, I'm not going to ever enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, that's hard to enjoy when you're stressed out about it.
And it's a mindset of like, it's never enough. When I was doing that, it was always a mindset of like, it's not enough, it's not working, I'm not doing the right thing, I made the wrong choice. So it was very like, and that isn't my nature. And so it's very stressful for me to be in that space.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just, I would say, I think I spent the first like at least 6 months doing that. And then the last year and a half has been for really free of that. I don't know, something just clicked and I stopped
Yeah. Like, how
doing
did
it in
you
the
do
same
it?
way.
Can you offer some words of wisdom or insight to, because I'm sure there's people listening who are experiencing
Yeah.
that same thing. What helped you shift your mindset?
Well, it was, first of all, it was that or quit.
Okay. So your back was up against the wall.
Yeah. It was that
Yeah.
or quit. It was like, I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I actually met with you, Christine, and I told you like the numbers and you said like that's good. Like that's a good number for where you're at right now.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
and that really stuck with me. I was like, okay, I just need to relax and like and then I did start to do a lot of more of my own spiritual practice around
Mm,
money mindset,
lovely.
and understanding that what I've wanted in life has already flowed to me.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
it must keep flowing. Why would it stop? So
Right.
I don't need to keep thinking that it's not working. I just need to think about the
Yeah,
first next thing that I need to do
right. Because it
to
was working and is working. And sometimes the trap is just us holding this idea in our head of how we think it should be. And we kind of miss out on what's unfolding in front of us.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm,
And I also
amazing.
agreed with myself, and I do this on a regular basis, that it's okay that growth is slow. Some
Mm-hmm.
people I see out there, it looks like they went from zero to, I don't know, 10 million overnight. Um,
Crazy. How
and
did they do that?
of course, it would be nice if it was easy to do that. I'd do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I've
in.
I've never seen any real story.
I'm in, but it's not what's happening for me.
No,
So it's really
no, it's not what
clicking
happens for the rest.
into, yeah, yeah. And so it's sort of like being okay with where things are at and just learning to be more relaxed. And I do have also like some
Yeah.
physical practices, like waking up in the morning and exercising. And I don't do that every single day, but that does absolutely keep me grounded and feeling energized for what I have to do in the day to keep things moving. Um,
Yeah. I love that you mention all of these self-care practices and I'm personally like such a proponent of, taking care of yourself first, fill your own gas tank because it's so
mhm.
hard to run a sustainable business if we're not cared for and whether it's yoga or meditation or therapy or whatever it is that helps you refuel, it's so important. And you also mentioned, several periods of just mindset shifts around leadership and you mentioned money. Can you say a little bit about what shifted for you in terms of your money mindset as your business grew?
Yeah. So my, it's a few things. One is just sort of like not one is not having thoughts of there isn't enough here, because
Mhm,
there is enough.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, I think that it tied into also like, are the contractors happy? Like, if it's not just like the community that I'm building here, they're here to make money, right? But then understanding that like it is enough, like there is growth, and they see me working and they see the results of the work. And so I let go of a lot of those like external pressures that really didn't exist that I put on myself. Um, and just started to pay attention to like what is there. So like specifically how many consultations, and getting my spreadsheets in order, and getting my metrics in order, so that, and I find that really helps with the mindset, because I can see what the reality is, and the reality is good, as
Mhm.
opposed to um, just like kind of being all over the place, and thinking that I have a to-do list that's the size of my desk, and
Yeah.
um, and all those overwhelming thoughts, that made it,
Mhm.
as I said, like that made it unenjoyable. So I think that was a big part of the shift.
Yeah.
Um, but really, if I'm really honest, which I want to be, it's
Please.
through meditation.
Nice.
Just sitting with myself and asking for support from my higher self and from, whatever divine energies are there uh, to support me in this journey of bringing in more abundance. And it's not just money. That abundance is also really tied in with my health and my vitality. So if I'm only gonna, if I put myself under that pressure about money, it actually was taking me away from also taking care of my body. Um, and
Yeah.
so, I understand that like these things for me, at least they go together. As the more that
Love.
I'm in tune with how to, not have pain in my body or be healthy and strong, and energized, the more money flows in.
Hmm. I so appreciate, Laura, the juxtaposition between meditation and spreadsheets. Right? I heard things there that I so resonate with, and I think are so important for our listeners to hear as well. Is, in running a business, we talked a little bit about self-care, and for you, meditation is a huge part of that, and it's been very helpful in my own journey as well. And then specifically with the money piece, where I hear and see a lot of business owners get stressed out is this kind of constant checking of the bank balance without really having the full picture. And I just want to reiterate what I heard from you of the importance of actually tracking our metrics, whether it's through a weekly or monthly scorecard. In my program and in my own business, we do cash flow, we do profit and loss projections. And what I notice is just really the peace of mind and the control that having the data, having the metrics can bring, and then combined with a meditation practice, self-care practices to help just like, relax our own nervous system. That sounds like for you and for me too has just brought so much relief and clarity.
Yeah, I having the metrics also, it's sort of like, okay, that's what I could do. Like I don't
Yeah.
need to worry about what's not done or what,
Hmm.
what where I'm at. Like it's done. It's there. It's on the spreadsheet. I know what it looks like, and now I can take the next
You can
step.
make a choice. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of next steps, you and I spoke a few months back about your travel year. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration for your travel year and just all the things, what's exciting and what's challenging.
Yeah. So my spouse, he has a job where he can do a 4/5, which means you get like 4 years of your salary
Yeah.
at 80%, and then the fifth year you get 80%, and you don't have to work.
So cool.
Um,
So
so
cool.
4 years ago, I decided that I also want to take a break from seeing one-to-one clients and recalibrate
Hmm. Hmm.
my work and my life, and just have a year to spend. Well, I'll be running the group practice, and I may be doing some other um, professional work. And I'm seeing how that's going to evolve right now. And we're
So
going to
exciting.
be traveling with our two kids in South America
Wow.
for the
Oh my
year, starting
gosh.
in September.
What an
Yeah.
incredible life experience for you and your family. What are you most excited about for your upcoming travel year?
Being with my favorite people on the planet for an entire year.
Cool.
And the relaxed feeling that comes when you don't have a schedule all the time, like you
Mm.
just, and nothing mundane, like we're going to stay in a place for a month or 2 months or 3 months. And when we feel like we're ready to move on, we're going to move on and hopefully connect
Ugh.
with some other really interesting people along the way, and, um, learn things that we might not have time to learn right now. Like one of my kids wants to learn how to do pottery, and I've always wanted to do pottery. So I hope we can find a place where we can do like a pottery immersion, and
Yeah.
um,
Oh,
and
that sounds
cooking
amazing.
classes and rock climbing and all those fun things that we do have time for that to a degree, but we'll just be immersed in the things that we want to be doing
Yeah.
together.
Oh, that's so exciting. What an incredible experience. And then on the flip side, what are some of the challenges or concerns you're anticipating, specifically with respect to running your business remotely while you're traveling?
I'm not that concerned because I already run it remotely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
doesn't
all
really
remote.
matter if you're 20 minutes away, an hour away, or half a world away.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
So
incredible.
even and we purposely, one we chose South America for a variety of reasons, but one of them is to be in the same time zone,
Yeah.
um,
Yes. Yeah. Well,
or around the same time zone. So that's the
yeah,
important
that
piece.
helps. Yeah.
Hmm.
What would you say for anyone listening who is, either planning something similar or would love to do something similar? What is the one piece of advice you could offer to someone that you have done or have learned that has helped set you up to be able to do this?
To firstly, just to make a decision. I have talked
Mm,
to a lot of people who have said, like, how can you do that? Like, we could never do that.
mm,
And like my husband, he was at first like, how are we gonna? I'm kind of spending all the money I make. Like, what's gonna happen here if we do this
totally get it.
80%? And then it just worked out.
You just
So
figure
it's
it
kind
out.
of like just like understanding that what we need does flow to us. I know it's a little bit
Mm,
woo-hoo for some people, but this has been our
mhm. But
experience.
that's your reality. Yeah. Yeah.
And then just kind of letting go of, like I said, okay, I'm not going to work for the year with one-to-one clients, but maybe I will like to work with one or two clients, and
It's being
or
open.
just being open to like whatever the needs are and whatever we want to do, and kind of like
Hmm.
working with that. um
Yeah.
Definitely there's been some saving of
Hmm.
money to do the trip, so it's been
Yeah.
nice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
um and I would say just you just need to make a decision. If you look
Hmm.
out into the world, there's whole communities of travelers that have kids,
Yes. People
that are
living
just
abroad and
living
experiencing life.
abroad, traveling, yeah, world schooling.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I
um,
really, really appreciate that insight around just making a decision. And I know from my own personal experience, personal and professional, that sometimes what can seem impossible is if we just make the decision or we take the leap or we say, this is happening on this date, we figure it out. And sometimes, there's that spiritual component there that you've been talking about. And sometimes there are real logistics to be had. But I really value that mindset shift of I'm scared to do this to like we're going to do this and we're just going to figure it out. And it sounds like that mindset combined with your spirituality has really served you well in the growth of your business and in your life.
yeah, and I think in my younger years I did travel a lot, so I know you just kind of buy the ticket, and
Yeah, you
then
just
the
do it.
world the world gives you the experiences that you desire. So
Oh, well, I'm
um
so excited for you and your family, Laura, and for the business that you're building. For those that are listening that do want to get in touch or learn more about you, where's the best place to find you?
so the best is to see our website, which is www.soulfultherapy.ca. It's
Great.
Soulful.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, or email me directly at hello@soulfultherapy.ca.
Nice and easy. And wherever listeners are listening to this, most likely we'll have tagged you so you can find you there. But that's nice and easy, soulfultherapy.ca. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing your insights, for talking about the growth and evolution of your business and the excitement that is to come later in 2026 for you and your family. And thank you, listener, for tuning in to another episode of FoundHer Rising. If today's episode resonated with you, follow the show, share it with another founder, and leave a quick review. It helps more women find these conversations. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or learn more at HakkolaHorizons.com. Until next time, keep rising and keep building the business that gives you freedom to live, lead, and create on your terms.